Okay. I don't know if my handwriting is clear, but sorry. Hi. Salam. Good. Are we missing anyone? So we don't need any chairs? Are we ready? We're live. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين وعلى جميع أنبياء الله والمرسلين. We were talking about أسباب النزول last meeting. أسباب النزول. What's أسباب النزول? عليكم السلام. Would you help us getting a couple of chairs, please? No, over there from the Musalla. Fadal. We were talking about أسباب النزول. Okay? You remember anything about that? أسباب النزول. I'm gonna just wrap it up here. And first, let's recap it. What's أسباب النزول? If I want to write that in English, transliteration, مش translation, okay? Transliteration. أسباب النزول. Okay? النزول, send down, one of its meaning. أسباب, reasons. Why this surah or this ayah was delivered. We gave so many examples. For instance, we said, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ was delivered, why? One of the narrations, according to Sunnah and Shia, very close meaning, they say a group of Ahl al-Kitab asked the Prophet about the attributions, the attributes of God. Okay? What are those attributes? What we call in Arabic صفات الله. They said, انسب لنا ربك. Tell us, who's God? His characteristics, features. So, they say, when they ask that, Jibreel delivered the surah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ صمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. So that was based on the question. يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس. For instance, عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي, يعني soul. Nobody knows about the soul anything. Some people they say الروح here means soul. Some people they say an angel. يسألونك عن الأنفال. يسألونك, so many things, maybe more than 10 or 13 times يسألونك in the Quran. So this is a reason, direct reason. We know someone asked, and the Quran is documenting that they used to ask the Prophet. Indirectly is giving us important clues. First of one, ask. Ask. If you have any question, not now, okay? If you have any question, don't hide it. Ask. Because through questions, you learn. Maybe an answer for a question, or a question might change so many things. Maybe because of your question, that scholar get into different research, or he start looking at specific ruling from different perspective. Questions very important. Don't say this is a trivial question. Maybe it's not a trivial question. Maybe it's not. There is nothing called the trivial questions. Okay? So this is direct clue. We have another clue. That the job of a scholar or a leader is to listen to his followers to His people and find answers for them. يعني يسألونك عن الأهلة. The Quran did not say it's not your business, it's astronomy. No. He found them a solution that fits their what? Knowledge and needs. Not too philosophical. Depends on your situation. So this is also teaching us when someone is approaching you, do not overcomplicate them and overload them. Give them what they want. Not more, not less. And this is not easy. So if I have like 10 books in philosophy or in astronomy about Hilal, and you ask me about Hilal, I'm not going to just, vomit all the information without digesting it. No. Give him the summary. And the more you understand the material, the easier the answer would be. If you do not understand the material, the answer will be what? Overcomplicated terminologies I don't understand. It's like someone memorizing something and put it, hey, take it. No, I don't want this. I need the easy solution. This is only, we learned from يسألونك, أسباب النزول. So don't underestimate questions. Do not underestimate also the answers. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created this universe, is giving you an answer, that means He wants you to what? To question. And in certain situations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered certain people not to question certain things. Too many certains. Okay, like what? لا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبدأ لكم تسؤكم. We have certain places, it's not the time for questioning. Or, for instance, in our daily life, it's my privacy. Yeah, where did you buy your car from? And where do you get the money from? And why? It's my life. Yeah, if I'm a public figure, or you are questioning my integrity, that's a different story. But you have to know every tiny details what I'm doing. There is here something, wasting time, ruining others, privacy, and just name it. But in general, it's just the hukum. Okay. So we have certain ahkam, we might not know the wisdom behind it. We do not know. Why? Maybe at certain situations, we don't have the capability to understand the wisdom behind it. And sometimes no, because it's not just you. It has to do with the group. Example. Now we have the speed limit, let's say 40 miles or 40 kilometers, whatever your country is. You know what? I don't like this 40 miles per hour. I don't believe in it. No one explained it to me. Therefore, I'm going to speed up. Convince me that I have to stick to that. By the time I convince you, you already get like 10 tickets. Okay? So this is not something personal. Maybe there is what? There is a wisdom beyond your benefit. It is for the community, for the society. Because if everyone starts speeding up, and I know the nature of the cars that you are driving, you might end up, getting hurt. So I put this as a safety standard. Later on, you tell me my cars changed, safety changed, the way we control the cars changed. Now cars are without any drivers, and they are way more controlled. Okay, we'll talk about it. Okay? But for the time being, that's what I have for you. And this will lead us later on, for Asbab al-Nuzul, is the reason behind the ayah or the delivery of ayah limit the power of that verse, limit the power of that verse to a point it only affect what? Its people, not that. So, is it right to say, oh, because the reason of that surah, blah, 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 therefore it is only related to that time, that era, that period, that specific group of people? It does not include me. How do we see this nowadays? I give you so many examples. Yeah, the Quran, did not say hijab, for instance. There is nothing called hijab. Why? You bring him an ayah. Oh, yeah, you know what? I was wrong. But, so because shaitan is fabricating, you show him the evidence. Yeah, you're right. But you know what? Maybe it is for those people, different culture. Habibi, so can we say asbab al-nuzul might affect the range of that ruling? Is going to limit it or no? This is a big question. Yeah, an example to make it simple. Wallah, the Prophet used to like, for instance, certain perfume. Good? Let's pick, for instance, the misk. In 21st century, you tell me, Sheikh, I like Gucci. I like Nautica. I don't want to make advertisement now. Okay, Versace, I don't like music. Do I have to put music? So you're going to find a group of people, they are going to tell you, yeah, mustahab. Why mustahab? It's a big subject. I don't want to enter it in details because it's big. This is, we study it in usul al-fiqh. Inshallah, we'll have a session for usul al-fiqh. It's very important. Is it mustahab? Why? Because the Prophet did it. So since the Prophet did it, he will tell you. Therefore, it is what? Mustahab. A group of people will say, no. If the Prophet does something, who told you it has to be mustahab? Maybe it has to be with the culture. Maybe it's personal reason. Maybe he can go so many reasons. Which one I will pick? This or that? You get the idea? And this is where we see this struggle mainly within Wahhabi and other Muslims. Between Wahhabi and other Muslims. Wallah, why you are dressing this way? Oh, the Prophet used to dress this way. But did you ask him, what if we dress the other way? No. But he did it this way, then that's the right way. It's a big question in Islam. How far we can follow the Prophet's tradition. Same thing in the Quran. How far I can say this ayah is not limited, it's absolute. Okay, and that's why we have in usul al-fiqh or even in tafsir, we have muhkam, muqayyad, mutlaq, wa'am, ukhas. Okay, so big thing. Yani when the Quran is saying, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, is it every mu'mineen? Or is talking to the mu'mineen in the time of the Prophet? Why you are considering them the time? So, because there is an ayah, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, idha nudiya lis-salati min yawm al-jumu'ah, fas'aw ila dhikrillah. Yani if you hear the adhan, the call for Salat al-Jumu'ah, what do you have to do? Go to Salah. Dhikrillah, they say Salah. So it's talking to me or to that time because there is an event, they say. They used to sell and, trade Sahaba. So the Quran said, hey, what are you doing? There is Salah. Leave everything. Clear? So is that related to their area? Their time? Their era time? Period? Or no? Big question. If you say yes, we big a problem. Because if everything is going to be that, no more rulings. So everything is back for that era. If it is no, why no? Why? Why it is affecting us as well as every generation after us or before us? Why? Can anyone help? Yes. Yeah, and halla, if the Prophet is drinking from a jar, I have to drink from a jar? Why are you saying no? It's a contradiction, no? Wallah, the Prophet used to ride a horse. Do I have to buy a horse? That's a different story now. We're changing. Honey, we have Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. Wallah, the Prophet used to have amama. Where's your amama? Good? So, what is the idea again? Does the reason behind sending down certain verse, ayah, does that limit the power and the rulings of that ayah or no? And I gave an example, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. Why no?
Because Quran is still the end of the world, so it will be for everyone till that time.
So when I read, for instance, in the Quran, وَأَعُدُّ لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ وَمِن رِبَاطِ الْخَيْلِ, يعني prepare strong resources and horses. So what do you mean? I have to bring horses? Every Lebanese...
That's what we have to adjust according to the...
Why are you adjusting here? You are not adjusting there.
We'll adjust everywhere where it can be.
Who told you you have the right to adjust?
Because time has changed.
So who said, if you stand before Allah and Allah asks you, why did you change here? Did I tell you? It's okay.
It's logical.
Logical based on what? It's something you like. But where is the logic behind it? It is not illogical and it's not logical. It's either one. It's a good idea. A good idea does not mean it's logical. Isn't it? Right? Okay. So, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. We say, because in Arabic, the call is not limited. It's saying, as I translated in English, all the believers. Did he say all the believers in the time of the Prophet? No. Then everyone who is a believer has to be under what? That call. As simple as this. See how simple? That's logical. Okay? That's very logical. Is there a place was limited? Or is certain verses were limited? Yeah. Which we'll talk about it later on. So here we say Asbab al-Nuzul sometimes might affect the way we understand the ayah. And that's why some scholars, they put so much efforts to prove whether Asbab al-Nuzul is right or wrong, authentic or not. And for your information, most of Asbab al-Nuzul, yani the reasons, the events, the history behind it, the narrations behind it, weak narrations. Most of them. But still they can give us what? A clue. Because sometimes it is what the Sahabi understood or remembered, maybe right, maybe wrong. Or the Tabi'i assumed this is the meaning of the ayah. Okay? So, but if we can guarantee it is hadith sahih as-sanad, that would help us a lot in understanding the ayah. Any question about this? So, based on that, I'm going to come back to the mustahab wajib of the Prophet. Okay, I'm not leaving this, but let me wrap up this. Based on that, they say, when we talk about Asbab al-Nuzul, we have the story behind sending down that ayah or that surah. And you know so many stories, some of them are authentic, like Hadith al-Kisa. Because of that hadith, we have what? إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. We have the hadith from our resources, hadith Sahih Sanad, and from Sunni resources also narrated. Okay, some of it they say it is Hasan. When Imam Ali alayhi salam was making ruku', he gave his ring to the poor person. So an ayah was delivered. إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم يركعون. And we discussed this because I want to read the ayah by itself. Why they give zakah while they are making ruku'? And every time I want to pay zakah, I have to make ruku'. Have you seen it? And it's like some does not work. Oh, when I know the story behind it, I understand. Okay, clear? So based on that, brothers and sisters, the story is asbab nuzul. Sometimes there is no story, but I can tell there is something happened. Like what? يسألونك. Okay, or that lady came to the Prophet asking him, about her problem, marriage problem. So many ayat Allah. Some of the reasons could be history, pure history, not fiqh, not ahkam, not aqidah. Like what we said this before. غُلِبَتِ الرُّومُ وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ. Or talks about the previous nations. Allah, we have prophets mentioned in the Quran, not mentioned in the Bible. We have certain ideas in the stories of the Quran, not mentioned in what? The Bible. Details. And we have details in the Bible not mentioned in the Quran. And we talked about this before. Questions here? So I can move now to titles. From this asbab al-nuzul, we can get two major formulas. See all this talk I was talking? If I want to summarize it, what's the fruit of asbab al-nuzul? I can come up with a formula. If you memorize it, done deal. Example. I repeat this example from last time. Sheikh, my hand touched a dog, and then I touched my clothes. My clothes, tahir or najas? No, not dog. A pig. Okay? My clothes now, tahir or najas? Najas? Why? Why? Pig. Yeah. Who told you it is what? Maybe it's dry. So if your hand is dry and the pig is dry, the najasa is not going to transfer from the najas to your hand. You tell me a dog, I repeat the same answer. You tell me blood, I dry the blood. I can go on and on and on. Rather than I keep giving example, I come up with a formula. What's that formula? Jaf ala jaf, tahir bila khilaf. How easy. So now with formulas you will be like mini Sheikh. Jaf ala jaf, tahir bila khilaf. Heidi is good for what? For a chat GPT. And if you are a good programmer, we can sit and talk about it. Rather than giving so many ideas, so many examples to chat GPT, I can give it what? A formula plus a couple examples. Okay, it will be what? Yeah. Garbage in, garbage out. Otherwise, it will be, that's why sometimes use ChatGPT. I was using ChatGPT one time. I was doing something about evolution. Always go back to the same idea. Evolution is very solidified. Blah, blah, blah. Habibi, I know what's evolution, but we have loopholes. You have to tweak your questions into so many weird way in order to find what you want. Why? Because the ChatGPT that you use, most of it grabs stuff from the internet and give it to you. It's not like specialized thing. Give me good data with good examples, solid ones. I will give you solid solutions. Otherwise, it's what you are grinding, If you are grinding garlic, guess what? What you are going to get? Something. Okay? Garlic. One of the problems you might find later on, and it's scary, when you start depending, it's going to face it very soon, when you start depending on an algorithm you do not control and you do not have the code for, guess what's going to happen? If someone filters things out, you will never get the proper answer. And it's going to happen. Well, it happens a lot now. It's like in Google. If they don't want certain things to show up, they hide it. So therefore, it's not a fair environment. is not a fair, equal opportunity anymore. And this is dangerous. And that's why you have to have something for your religion. You have to use such kind of technology from scratch, build it, and have your own advancement. Otherwise, they are going to control you, as they control you in social media. Now sometimes you post something in social media, has nothing wrong. All of a sudden, what? This is first warning. Yeah, I did not do anything. I just get it from CNN. Yeah, warning number 1. Little by little, your account is disabled. So just remember my statement. Has nothing to do with this. So we back here, as we have formula, طاهر جاف على جاف طاهر بلا بخلاف. يعني جاف dry, touches something dry. The result is what? طاهر. بلا خلاف, that means no question about it. We don't have different opinions about it. Yes, sir.
You put a dog and it's dry.
Yes.
So you can go pray.
Yes. As simple as that. Unless it starts licking your hand. That's a different story. That's not dry. You don't have to shower. If you sink it in water for 40 times, I mean, iron is iron. It's not going to be gold now. Yeah, it's like one of the guys was asking, if I walk my dog 40 miles, it will be tahir? No, it's not going to be tahir. If it gets 40 vaccine, it's not going to be tahir. Why it is not tahir? This is a different story. You know, maybe Islam was looking into certain environment where dogs, people, they get attached to dogs. And that's why, you know, people, among history, they used to have dogs, especially farmers, because very helpful for the cattle, just name it. But anyway, because of this kind of attachment, and because dogs, usually sometimes you have astray dogs, or, you know, some of them, they come with diseases. You know, what kind of disease I'm talking about? With dogs usually come? Rabies. So Islam said from the beginning, stay away. Okay? All of a sudden now society got changed, improved, whatever you want to talk about it. Now we have dogs that I can have vaccine. Okay? Give them some shots. So I have vaccine for them, or certain shots. Are they considered dangerous? Here, back to the same idea. Is it Islam saying it's haram because of that, or because of something else? Yani, is Islam looking, ya habibi, tab hayda dog went to the restroom, came back. Meant when you go to the restroom, wiping, water, underwear, with clothes, wash your hands, mashallah, sanitizer, come on. But all of a sudden the dog goes there, comes back on your pillow. How do you sleep? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, good. Do not visualize it. Okay? Yeah, the cat too. But usually, you are more attached. Because they follow orders, and you can rely on them in certain tasks, and that's why they use them for hunting. So many places. It's not like we invented the wheel here in the country. No, it's well known. So Islam will say, where are you going? Where are you going? So maybe there's like creating a psychological barrier. Hey, this is the maximum, you can deal with it. Okay? It's not I hate dogs. No. But generally speaking, how often humanity will do what you are doing in this country? Humanity is 8 billion. You are going to tell me everyone has shots who schedule appointment. So when I want to legislate something, I do not legislate it because of 10%. I have to take into the consideration the benefit of the majority. Isn't that democracy also? Okay, but this is now a different story. Back to here, but it helped us to understand how far we can limit rulings, okay, or narrations. Very important. In fiqh, this is big subject. I'm giving you just small, tiny example. So, asbab al-nuzul, we have a formula. We can get some formulas. Al-mawrid la yukhassis al-warid. Al-warid is something was sent down. Quran was sent down. Al-mawrid, something happened. if something happened and the Quran was delivered because of that event, does it mean it's only related to that event? Oh, you generalize it. So they say al-mawrid la yukhassis what? Al-warid. Al-mawrid la yukhassis al-warid. Another way they say al-ibra fi umum al-lafz la bi khusus al-sabab. I'm saying this just in case you are reading a book, you find it simple. Al-ibra, yani the wisdom or the moral lesson is in the generality of the meaning, not the reason behind it. Okay? Wallah, he was, because he ate lots of chips, okay, he had a cholesterol problem. The problem in chips. I'm not saying the problem in chips, the problem in carb and the fried food. No. He said the chips. Ya Habibi, no, the doctor has nothing, or specific brand. Now, till now we use this kind. Is the problem, the doctor told me do not drink coffee. Yeah, but I drink, let's say, he would say Red Bull. It has caffeine in it. Yeah, but he told me coffee. There is common sense behind it. So it's not about the direct reason. It is more general than that. You get the idea now? Okay? Any question? Al-ibra means the moral lesson. Okay, what we learn from it. Al-ibra is in the generality of the meaning of the words. The word has more a general meaning than specific, meaning. Not because of the reason. لا بخصوص السبب. So this is my main topic for today, أسباب النزول. This will lead us now to the example. المورد لا يخصص الوارد. الوارد, that means that like the Quran was sent down to you. So the specific event does not make it specific for that ayah. I'm talking about in general. Okay, now. Back to the question. I don't know how much time we still have. We still have a little bit of time, because this is an important question. But before I enter into that subject, do we have any question about Asbab al-Nuzul? Trust me, this is a big subject in fiqh, in aqidah. In fiqh, it is a huge subject. Example, I'll give you an example, since we started. Because we always have fight usually about it. I will pick quick example before we talk about the mustahab thing. We have, for instance, يسألونك عن ماذا؟ عن الأهلة. قل هي مواقيت للناس. Okay, I'm gonna get you the. Sorry for my handwriting. I'm gonna get you for the ayah. This would be. How many ahilla we have? I have only one ahilla in the Quran. يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس والحج. Okay, I did not finish here. Huh? So this is ayah. Please work. Okay. 189. So there is a continuation for this. Okay. 2. That means Surah Al-Baqarah. What's the first surah? That's good. Surah Al-Fatih. Yeah, Al-Hamd or Al-Fatih. So this ayah is very important ayah. I'm going to give you now an example of what we studied. I'm going to do my best every time we have a session to give examples, not just talk about abstract. So let's say you are in the time here, يسألونك, okay? يسأل. You are in the time of the Prophet. You ask the Prophet about Al-Ahillah. Hilal, okay? What's a Hilal? new moon. Scientifically, new moon is not something you can see most of the time. But we call it, let's say, crescent, new crescent, visible crescent for us. Okay, Hilal, that's Hilal. But people, they name their kids Hilal, okay? So, Ahilla is the plural of Hilal. And Hilal is important for those people. Why? Now imagine now you don't have a phone, you don't have calendar, you are in a forest. How you're gonna know whether it's the beginning of the month or the end of the month or the midway of the month? How? From? Yes. Hala, to us you say, who cares about Hilal and New Crescent? To you, because now you are what? Depending on your digital things. Okay? But once you lose it, we are going to go back to where? Okay. Secondly, Islam wants you to get connected to this universe, to meditate, to appreciate. Because sometimes, trust me, maybe it takes us a year without seeing the crescent or the full moon. We do not enjoy what we have because we are taking it for granted. That same person, if he got into a problem, he's in prison, or let's say, Allah yaf'ankum bala jami'an, get blind, he starts thinking about what? Oh, I would like to see sunrise. Ya habibi, manti never saw the sunrise. But now, because you don't have the opportunity, you feel what? The need for that. Routine is a killer. We don't appreciate things. So that's why you see Islam is connecting you to the universe. Why? Because without paying attention, when you are connected to the universe, when you see something, wow, what you're going to say? But no matter what you do here on the phone, wow, that's cool. Okay, that's it. You move on. Okay? No, get out. Get out of this virtual stuff and move on to what? وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. This is off the topic. So now we go back to Hilal. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَهِلَّةِ. They ask you about the Hilal. What's this behind it? قُلْ هِيَ مَوَاقِيتُ لِلنَّاسِ. The Hilal is a reference point. You can tell whether it's in the beginning of the month, the end of the month, how far it is during that month, because you know from the place, the position of the moon. It is a big thing. So now we have Shahr Ramadan. So should I go check out the Hilal? Or no, I don't need the Hilal? It's a question. Do I have to go see the Hilal by naked eye? Or no, I can use telescope? We're talking about as ayah always. Why? No? We don't have. If you have anything, bring it down. So now it's a question. Okay, I understand the Hilal. The first question would be, what's Hilal? You tell me Hilal is the new moon that the people used to see. Okay, what if I am now more advanced? I can see it. Okay, usually Hilal, you see it close to the sunset time. Okay? But if I see the moon, I get my telescope and I can see the moon what? 2 hours before sunset. Can I call this Hilal? None of the Sahaba did it. Can I consider this is Hilal? It's a big question. So typically, how they know the Hilal? They go before the sunset a little bit. They know the Hilal will be just above the sun. If they see this small hair, shape, it's like a small line, curved line. Oh, this is the Hilal. طيب يا حبيبي, I did not see it. It's cloudy. And science is telling me 100% if that cloud is moving, you can see it. But the cloud stayed there. Can I say there is no hilal? I feel guilty because the science is telling me it is there, but it happened, it's raining now. Can I say, no, that's a hilal? Or I don't have to wait for sunset. I got my telescope, and 2 hours before the sunset, I was able to see the hilal. Can I say this is hilal? Or الهلال is only what the people used to recognize. هون بنرجع لأسباب النزول. Back to that. Yes.
So in the past, they didn't have telescopes.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would they know that?
I'm sorry?
How would they be able to tell?
If they could not see it by the sunset, they had to finish 30 days. That's simple as that. Okay? So what's the solution? Should I go with the traditional way? Because based on Asbab al-Nuzul, I go check the factors. Okay, I know the Asbab al-Nuzul, they ask the Prophet. But also I can take advantage of that. They ask about al-Ahilla, and al-Hilal back then based on what? Based on seeing it. Okay, specific time. But all this now changed. Should I stick to the environment and the factors used to be there and bring it here? Or no, you tell me we are more advanced. Yani if the Prophet used to use swords, do I have to use sword? If the Prophet used to use horses, should I use horses? If no, why? And if yes, why? This is the important here. The importance is in this. What do you think? Before we talk about fiqh, what do you think? Should we change our understanding, or no, we have to take it the classical way? Sorry? We can? Based on what? Okay, give me some. يعني هلا إذا الصلاة 4 ركعة and I go to the gym, can I make it 1 ركعة? Why not? Why this is the rule there and this is not the rule here? We are asking when it is permissible to expand the meaning of an ayah and when it is not permissible.
Telling them how they, when they were asking them a specific question,
Uh-huh.
so the specific people were asking about it, and that's how they replied to it.
What's the last portion of the question?
So those specific people were the ones that were asking.
The hilal is when I see something, and when I see it, the people, they raise their voice, hey, this is hilal. And they are asking the Prophet because this hilal changed. Urjun qadim, it will be better, changes. So he's asking them. The Prophet, rather than giving them the astronomical reason behind it, because they don't have enough information, he took the advantage of the question to tell them this is a good reference for people going to Hajj, fasting, whatever you want. But the hilal now I can determine it in different ways. To make it short on you, there's a big struggle there's a big debate among our scholars. A group of scholars, they said, yes, you have to take it a classical way. Why? They will tell you, because the mentality back then, al-hilal is when I see it, once I see it, I raise my voice, say, this is the hilal. Okay? And if I go to Arabic language, I don't know if I have this open. I don't know if I have it open. Okay. الهلال استهل ظهر وهل الشهر ظهر هلاله رفع والإهلال رفع الصوت عند رؤية الهلال والاستهلال هو طلب الهلال. Anyway, so here you used to see it. If you cannot see it, can you say it's hilal? Okay, you tell me, see. And how they used to see it? Okay. And on the top of it, they have hadith that emphasize on that the ru'ya has to be with what? Yeah. Sumu li ru'yatihi, famous hadith. Yani you break your fast and you fast based on ru'ya, by eyes. So this is the first group. You say, wow, this is very solid. Second group, how they get around it? They said, hold your horses or cars, okay? You missed a point. This ayah is more dynamic. Ya habibi, كيف dynamic? We have hadith that said, sumu li ru'yatihi, not by calculation. And we have hadith that Imam prevented them from their tanjim, we call it, okay? They say, yeah, you missed a point. What did I miss? They say, first of all, and some people, not the scholars, some people, they come to the Sheikh, Sheikh, ما it's in the Quran, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ, يعني, so they say, they assume what shahida? Yeah, no, shahida means, if you are not traveling, you are not sick, and the new month shows up, what do you have to do? Fast. Shahida does not mean here what? Ru'ya. Okay, so those are regular people, not our scholars. So they don't use this. Okay, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Okay? Because it said فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ مش الهلال. الشهر. You don't see the month. Okay, you see the hilal. That's a different story now. So these other group now, they say, yeah, I like your proofs, but it's missing something. What's missing? Because the hadith, if I want to start with the hadith, because hadith should explain the Quran, if the hadith sahih sanad, isn't it? The hadith said, okay, you have to use your naked eye to see the hilal. Why? It says by the end of it, according to some of the narrations, regardless of the sanad, لِكَيْ لَا يُغَمْ عَلَيْكُمْ. Yani you don't get what? Confused. The other hadith, sahih sanad, this is sahih. Al-hilal is not based on what you think or you wish. It's about what? Certainty. So those group of people, they will tell you, using a telescope or scientific calculation is more authentic and certain than what? You see now where is the margin? It's not like I like it. I don't care about what you like. I need what? I need the proofs from Quran and Sunnah. Is that clear? And they have definitely more reasons. For here, Al-Ahilla, they will tell you, yeah, they used to see the hilal. And trust me, I'm seeing it. I can bring the telescope and I can see it. To me, this is hilal. Okay? So, this is a big subject. I'm trying to simplify it. And that's why they say, الرؤيا على نحو الموضوعية أو على نحو الطريقية. Some people, they ask me to say some words in Arabic. I don't want to overcomplicate it. What's على نحو الطريقية? يعني to see the hilal, that tool is one of the ways, or it is what? It is the only way to use it. Okay, you have to use it. Example. Let's say I have blood on my shirt, and my shirt is white. Good? I put it under the water. I clean it up like 3-4 times. Everything was good. Okay, I prayed. I was done. Ya Ammi, I can still see little bit of color. Is that najis or tahir? Why? Yeah, but okay, I'll take it to the telescope. You still have some dots of blood you cannot see by eyes. Should I go with that science? I say no. Why no? Why here you took technology and here you rejected technology? Okay, this is one of the reasons. ما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. Second, typically, So typically, telescope is different than microscope. Microscope, you are digging into so many details. Telescope depends what kind of telescope you have. It is not that complicated. Secondly, third, people they use it. No one will use the the microscope to check if there are traces of blood. It's against common sense, unless it's an experiment. But people would use what nowadays? Telescope to check certain stars. It has been. Okay, that's one of the arguments. I'm not saying who is right, who is wrong. I'm telling you what they say. Another thing they might claim, على نحو الطريقية, is any way that lead you to certainty, more than welcome. Because the idea is to be certain there is hilal. Because the hadith said it is not based on your wishes. It is about what? Certainty. Back then, the certainty was two things. It's either you finish the whole month, till it is 30 days, because Arabic months cannot be more than 30 days, or you look at naked eye. Now I have another way of certainty, they argue. Okay? And more than that, we have scholars based on Hadith Sahih al-Sanad. If you see the hilal, the crescent, so this is usually the crescent, isn't it? If you see the crescent after one night, let's say, 2 nights, and you see a halo around it, they will tell you then the previous night was what? First night of Shahr Ramadan. Oh, here we have another way of proving the hilal. So it is about not what? Naked eye. It's about certainty. That's their argument. If you use such kind of methodologies, you are not creating another religion. You are using professional ways. بس إنه واحد he is having his argile. You know what? I don't like this. It should be this way. Ya Habibi, who are you? Show me your what? Proofs, logic, methodology. Easy to contradict things and put it down. So this is a small example of asbab and nuzul. I'm sorry if I took much time of it, but trust me, driving a ruling is not as easy as you think. I gave you very simple argument. I did not go deep. But by the end, I have to mention a nice story. They say it used to be mustahab for the Muslims to dye their hair and beard. So they came to Imam Ali, according to the riwayah, and they asked him, how come you do not dye your beard? So Sahaba are doing it. How come you don't do it? Until now you see it in a very, sometimes terrible way. They said we used to do it because we used to be a few in numbers. And we want to show the kafirin that we are young and strong. But now, after Islam is great and we have so many followers, it's up to you whether you dye your beard or not. إنما كان ذلك والإسلام قل أما الآن وقد الإمام I don't know which source is that. Now Islam is strong. ضرب بجيرانه, it's wide. فامرؤ ومختار. Okay, the meaning of the hadith. So here, this hadith, regardless now of the sanad, but is giving us that not every mustahab, it is biblical. We have to look at, that's according to some scholars. مثلا, you might read hadith. It is mustahab to bury your nails, degrees, keep it for next season. Here we say maybe the reason, do not make it all over and people might get hurt. Okay? So you have to understand the wisdom behind it. How far that wisdom, that's what the job of the scholars. The more you are creative, the more you are good in understanding and putting things together, the better you will understand the hadith and get better deriving rules. Okay? The better you derive rules. Let's put it this way. Any questions? Yes.
Ali gave a hadith about the certainty or like why he warned against calculations for the moon.
I did not say Imam Ali.
You said someone said.
One of the Imam. Yeah, anyway.
Can you expand on that? No, why did he say to be against calculations?
He did not say against calculation, against tanjim back then. That's a very good point. Because the tanjim in the time of Ahl al-Bayt, tanjim means an obsolete version or weak version of astronomy. It's more like predicting, plus naive way of astronomy. Naive, very limited. Nowadays it's totally different. Now we cannot call astronomy tanjim. Tanjim now, if you say tanjim, it's more like those who can foretell your future. Okay? Munajjim or munajjam or bassar yani. Okay? Some of it. So tanjim is more like, if you want to put it this nowadays, is like, predicting the weather. Could be right, could be wrong. Is it 100% accurate? Depends on your satellite and your city, isn't it? Too many factors. So back then, astronomy was very limited. And they used to claim, I can predict when that will happen. And most of the time they were wrong. Being wrong for 10%, I cannot depend on you anymore. Even 1% wrong, I cannot go back to you. Okay, why? Because it's not scientific. 1 + 1 = 2 has always to say equals 2. Not, it depends, I was wrong here, I did. That's not science. That's why they avoided, Ahl al-Bayt avoided it. Okay, because it was not real astronomy with real data, with real facts, with real, calculations and, proper methodologies. Nowadays, the percentage of error is 0.00000. Actually, now it's the opposite. They say, as a story, I'm not saying use it as a proof. There is a story. There is a guy in the village. This is a nice story. There is a guy in the village. Every time there is a new month, what he does? They go and they take that guy with him. Old guy, old long beard, gray hair. The whole village, no one was able to see the hilal except him. I saw the hilal. They look at the guy, they trust him, very pious guy. He said, okay, tomorrow is what? Ramadan or Eid. First time, second time, third month. One of the guys, he said, Yammi, how this guy, he can see the moon and he is that old and I cannot see him. He came with him. He said, I want to go figure out. So he came with that old guy. He said, hey, this is the hilal. And the people, hey, hilal. He said, hold on. Where is it? He said, here. He looked at his eyes. Okay, he saw long hair coming down, He lifted up and he said, do you see the hilal now? He said, no. He said, okay, that's not hilal, it's your hair. So now which more accurate? Scientific, methodologies or that one? But the scholar does not only look at it from this perspective, look at understanding the scope of it or make it limited. Okay? We stop it here.